And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics. Well, now let's move on to our Android Basics. And today we're talking about the One UI and the QPR 2.1 from Google. John, how about you get us started on that One UI 7? And I'm kind of still a little bit mad with Samsung for not pushing it out to other phones. That's one of the reasons why I'm not very happy with Samsung, guys. They should at least push it out to the S22 series, like I said. John, maybe you should suggest that they open it up next time out. I know it's kind of too late now, but what's going on? I know they pushed out a new one, didn't they?
So they're on the third beta now, and it's still only for the S24 series of phones. So it's looking at this point like they're not going to even release the beta on other phones. Like, you might just have to wait for the stable. That's just me guessing, but there's been rumors that the fourth beta may be the last one, and the third beta might even be the last one. There might not be another beta. It's just been so different this time around because they got so far behind. I know with One UI 6, they had 7 betas, and they did at some point open up the beta to the S20. Well, at the time, I guess the S22 series, and then the Fold and Flip series. But this time around, I don't. It's not looking like they're going to do any of that. So it's definitely different.
So, in other words, though, are they going to be taking something from Google's playbook that is not bringing the S25? Because the S25 series is going to be announced next week, right? The 22nd. So that thing is going to be coming out of the box with Android 14. Is that what that is going to be? Like what Google did?
It'll have Android 50. It'll have One UI 7 on it.
Okay, so but if
it might even have
One UI 7, then it shouldn't. There wouldn't be another beta, then, would there? I don't get it.
Well, they announced it on the 22nd. They're not going to actually
roll
ship
it
them
out
until February at some point. So
I got it.
They do still have a few more weeks, but yeah, usually they would come with like 7.1, but yeah, at this rate, it's like they're going to come with 7.0, and then we're going to have to wait for 7.1. Who knows what's happening with them? But just to give some updates on bugs that I'm experiencing. So they have fixed a few things since the first beta. There were some issues with the home screen. If you were to drag an item to create a folder, it wouldn't tell you were creating a folder. There were no actions on items in the app drawer, the vertical app drawer. Well, there were actions there, but they wouldn't work. It would just say action not supported. They've fixed both of those. They've fixed the quick settings. You in the first beta, you couldn't rearrange quick settings in any way. If you were to do the double tap and hold to rearrange, it would not announce the position, and there were no actions, so you couldn't move them using actions. But now in beta 3, you can move them both ways. So they have fixed all that stuff, but there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be corrected. I've posted on the Telegram group and on the mailing list, where about these issues, but I'll also mention them here because, if anybody out there listening is in the beta, I strongly recommend you report these bugs as well, because, this is stuff that needs to be fixed before it's released. The one that annoys me the most is on the recent screen, when you swipe from items, swipe between open apps, it won't automatically scroll. So you can't do that just with one finger. You have to move the screen with 2 fingers to go through all your open apps. Another issue is the fingerprint direction. When your phone is locked and you miss the fingerprint sensor, it always says move up. Even if you touch above the fingerprint sensor, it tells you to move up. So that's broken, needs to be fixed. The now bar on the lock screen, at the bottom of the screen between the 2 shortcuts, when it has media controls on it, because you have media playing or paused, Those buttons are not labeled, so those need to be labeled. Also, when you long press a notification, the buttons for turn off notification or notification settings, those are not labeled. And then I think the other big one that I pointed out is when you're rearranging the quick settings page or the quick panel, you can move the sections around, but instead of the sections being labeled by what they are just labeled by what position they're in. So it really gives you as a user no idea you don't have any idea what you're moving around unless you just remember what was in the position when you started. So there's other things, but those are the bugs that I feel strongly need to be addressed before the final release. But we'll see if they are or not. So I encourage anybody listening who hasn't reported them to report them. You can do it through the Samsung Members app on your phone if you're running the beta.
So there are things that are critical and there are things that I see as not being too critical. For example, how often does one go to the quick panel or quick settings to rearrange things? I mean, most of us just go with what the default is, but it's so funny, so you move, you're trying to move the flashlight maybe out of your way to maybe the second page or somewhere in there where you don't often use it. It's not going to tell you what you're moving, but it would at least let you know that you've moved something to position 13 or whatever. That's very interesting. But it's nice that they've actually fixed those actions, because I think some of us, that's what we use the most, right?
Yeah. The only way to do it before is to just completely remove everything from your quick settings and then just add them back in the order you want
that you want it.
That's the only way to actually accomplish it. But now they have at least fixed that. So, but yeah, they still have a lot to do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's good that they're catching these things, though, but like you said, though, it's good to report these things. If you have the S24 series, it's most important that you report these things that you're coming across. Is there a reporting mechanism like what we have, like the beta feedback that we have on Google? Is there an app like that on the Galaxy, or how do you guys go about reporting those?
The app is called Samsung Members. So instead of taking you to the regular Samsung Members screen, it will know you're in the beta, and it will give you the option to submit feedback right from the home screen of that app.
Nice. Sally, do you like rearranging things on your quick panel, or you just leave them the way they are?
Oh, I really like rearranging things in the panel. So.
Okay, so if you were to get this, you would be kind of not a very happy camper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Karen, do you rearrange things on the quick panel? I don't. I mean, I seldom do. Like maybe the ones that I like the most, probably I bring them to page one. But like the casting, I think that's the one that I brought to the first page. But other than that, I leave most of them in their default state. How about you, Karen?
I also rearrange them because I don't like how they sort them, how they organize them different than how I want them to be. So yeah, I also, and especially that now the items that are, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but if I remember correctly, you said before that the toggles that were in the notification shade aren't in the notification shade anymore. So we should go to quick settings more now.
Yeah, if so you can have it either way. You can have it be how it is still. You can leave it like that, or you can switch to the new way where the notification shade does not have any toggles. So yeah, they're at least leaving you the choice to have it either way.
Oh, so it's optional? Is it still optional?
Yeah, it is optional. So you can go, the way it is now is there's two quick settings panels, or I guess there's two places for quick toggles. You have the quick toggles on your notification shade, and then you have the quick toggles on your quick settings, and you can rearrange both of them the way you want. That's how it is now. So you can revert back to that old way of doing it, and it works the same way. So if you don't want it to change at all, you have that option. I don't know if when you get the update, if it'll switch it over for you, but if it does, then you can switch it back.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I hope we see another beta. I'm sure probably they may give us another beta. Yeah, most especially, the phone may not be out. Of course, they announce it, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later, the phones may come out. And I'm sure there would be another beta between then or something. We'll see what happens. Definitely, there's going to be another one in February before the phone is released. So, again, guys, send that feedback. So we'll have the good stuff going on. Chugging along, though, how about we talk a little bit about the QPR one? I think in this case, though, we're simply just going to give you guys a URL from which to read what has changed with the Pixel QPR 2. If you're running 2.1, if you're running that program, it's one of those things that Google pushed out. It was just a minor fix because some people were having some problems, and so that's what that is all about. I think that we'll see the full drop sometime in March, but we're not going to go into what has changed and what hasn't. We'll just give you the URL in there since it's just a minor thing. I think that's all that I have to say about this QPR 2.1.